Human hostility. The story of God Almighty with man, it is similar to the story of the people with their leaders. God Almighty gave man the power and knowledge to rule among people justly and to make peace and improve the earth so that they could live a dignified life. But they turned against their Lord and became corrupt and shed blood through selfishness and greed. The same story, people provide their leaders and rulers with money, resources, and confidence to rule justly, preserve security, and reconcile and improve the land and the people, but they turned against the people by oppressing, corrupting, and destroying the nation and land through selfishness and greed. This is the conflict between selfish and greedy people among themselves, as God mentioned. We see it in the reality in which we live it, and whoever does not see that he is in complete darkness. There is no such thing as a conflict of religions. Rather, religions are used for ignorance and exploitation. The only disaster for man is selfishness and greediness. For example, those who call themselves Zionists. I do not say Zionists because this name confines them to a specific group. The truth is general, and you find it in many countries and nations, especially countries of ignorance. Therefore, I call them selfish, greedy people, the most vile type of humanity as classified by God and practical reality. These people follow all means to satisfy themselves, regardless of humanity, morals, and values. They mislead, exploit, and kill in cold blood, with stony hearts that have no feeling. These people buy and produce religious scholars and open schools to mislead people and keep them away from humanity, truth, and from God by distorting the words of God and making an intermediary between them and God to implement their own selfish agendas. They can do what they're doing without making it religious and program the people to sacrifice themselves thinking that they are pleasing God. Because if the people know the truth, they will know God the most merciful will never encourage his people to do evil. God will never contradict himself. If this was indeed God's plan, it would have been carried out with goodness and mercy, and the entire region would have welcomed them with love and respect at 0.1% of the cost of this works of Satan. This has been the fault of humans since ancient times, even though God has explained this cause since he created Adam. If you follow Satan, you will go astray and loser. Isn't selfishness and greed that drove Adam and Eve from where they were? Thus, no matter how great your Satan is, the result is loss, especially those who are ignorant of the truth, because they are the cause of this loss. By following and believing the greedy ones, or their silence, if it were not for their ignorance, Satan would not have grown and enslaved them, and what goes around comes around. The strange thing is that some of those who disobeyed God's command of doing the good deeds, they continue praying on God to grant them victory over an enemy they created by themselves, instead of repenting and correcting their mistakes. So ignorant. Wake up, oh man, and know that true strength is following the truth, and do not let the demons of human mislead you. The truth is justice, freedom, goodness, love of goodness, and doing good deeds. Choose your leaders from among the true believers who do good and control themselves from selfishness and greed, and do not choose those who speak sweet words over faith. Faith is not idle talk but action. The truthful people do not deceive, but the hypocrites are the deceivers. Just remember that whatever injustice befalls you is from what your souls have earned. God does not oppress his servants. May God guide all of us.